What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the morning. I was gonna say the morning movie chat, but we're not talking about movies today, are we? We're gonna be talking about today. We're gonna be talking about comic books, the Dawn of X series. Have you guys been reading it? Have you guys been keeping up with this Jonathan Hickman's kind of reboot of the X-Men in the Marvel Universe? Let me know down in the comments below if you have been keeping up with that. Now, before we get too far into today's show, talking about the Dawn of X, as many of you well may know, that yesterday was New Comic Book Day. There was a bunch of comic books that just came out yesterday, as it's like a really huge week for comic books, and even my local comic book shop, they were telling me like man, there's just so many issues that they had coming out this week that's getting kind of ridiculous. Which it's the end of the year, so a lot of these publishers are putting out the last of the books that they will be putting out for the year. So it's quite a big week, and I know I've seen like next week's list of books coming out, and there's not a whole lot of books coming out next week. There's a few, but of course, naturally, Christmas Eve falls on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday is obviously Christmas, and then so New Comic Book Day next week won't be until Thursday. But again, it's not like a huge week, so it's not like it's that big a deal. Now, if you could do me one other favor, make sure if you're here, make sure you're subscribed, the bell and all that stuff. But make sure you smash the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And today, like I said, we're going to be talking about the Dawn of X series. I'm not sure if you guys have been keeping up with that, but if there's any of you out there, any of my good comic book community friends who have been reading this series and would like to hop on the stream, let me know. Maybe we can get you on here before the end of the hour. Let's see. Pavitharian Charlas. I'm not sure how to say that. I apologize if I butchered your name there. But welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I don't think I've ever seen you here before. Thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate that. Pavith Pavithirin says Marauders has the best Dawn of X series, has to be the best Dawn of X series so far. I absolutely 100% agree with you. It is definitely my favorite out of the Dawn of X titles. Wookiee Supremacy, good morning. How are you doing? Welcome. He says hello, Nerf herders. How are you doing this morning? And yeah, look, you guys see, I've got my Stealing Solo. I've got my shirt, my Han Solo shirt on today. These are ones, some of those ones that I bought, when we were shilling down at Disneyland, and my wife has the one with Princess Leia that says "I love you," and I know. Don't act like you don't know. Don't act like you don't know what it is. But yeah, so guys, the Rise of Skywalker is getting ready to premiere at the movie theater today. The premiere is tomorrow. Like forever. It's when you know what I'm talking about. But largely it opens in theaters world pretty much nationwide today. A lot of people are going to go see it. It obviously made its world premiere, on Monday. They did the thing down in Hollywood. Everybody went to see it. All the reviews started rolling in, and there's been a whole bunch of mixed reviews about this movie. And, we talked a little bit about that yesterday. And, I'm not one of those people who's going to be going to see it today. I mean, I like Star Wars. I love Star Wars. But, like, for me, it's not the MCU. Like, when it comes to the movies, I'm more into the MCU nowadays. When I was growing up, man, I'm telling you, it was all Star Wars. So, yeah, I'm going to go see it, and so I'm just, not as pumped to get out to the theater to see it, like, right this second. And, one of the things I think is funny about that is, something I laugh about a lot. Sorry, guys, I got to adjust this thing a little bit here. A lot about here on the channel is, everybody's got to be the first one to get their reviews out. You got to be the first to do this. You got to be the first to do that. Just Pavith will do. Haha. All right. Thank you. Yeah, so, I always laugh about that. Everybody's got to be the first one to get their video uploaded, online and stuff like that. And, hey, I get it. But, here on the channel, I mostly talk about comic books and the MCU and things like that. And then, with some of my live streams, I talk about just other things out there. You guys get a little, to know me a little bit better as a person. Well, hopefully you do anyway. And if you ever have any questions for me that you'd like me to answer, feel free to ask me any questions. Drop them down in the comments here on the live streams, especially on the live streams. But always make sure that you tag it. Just put like it says right there in the corner. Tag it. Say at Second Street Marvel, so it highlights it in the chat so I can see it. If you have a very specific question, and I'll do my best to answer any questions that you guys might have. So yeah, that's something I laugh about a lot. Is people always they gotta be the first to upload their video. They gotta be the first. And I get it. Everybody. We're all trying to get clicks, views, watch times, and all that kinds of stuff. Get people to our channels, to our videos, and things like that. And hey, I ain't knocking anybody's game. I mean, I do the same thing with my comic book reviews. Gotta try to be the first to get some of the the hot titles out there. Reviews of those up and things like that. And largely, my local comic book shop has been very helpful with that. They've really been supportive of me here at the channel in that way. So I get people wanting to do that, but we already see people starting to. People ready to go out and watch the movie, and they're gonna instantly get out of the theater and do the review, which is good. Nothing wrong with doing a review right out of the theater. Giving your thoughts about it, whether it's spoiler or not. But the one thing I've noticed, even one of my favorite channels that I 100% support across the board. And it's not just them. Believe it's not just them doing this, but we got a lot of people getting ready to go out and do these live spoiler discussions after the movie comes out tonight. Some of them are planning on whatever time they get out of the theater, they plan on doing it right then, which is fine, which is cool. I mean, you do what you got to do. I mean, we're all, like I said, we're all trying to get clicks and views. But for me, I think largely one of the things I feel about that is not everybody's seen the movie. Go ahead and do like a review, spoiler discussions and stuff like that, or I guess reviews, do your review, spoiler reviews and stuff like that. But to have like a discussion where you want to get, like these things and get communities on there of people who want to go out and talk about this movie, it could be just me, but I think that that's better, something better to do, like maybe Sunday, at least, to give people time to go see the movie. Because believe me, there's a huge group of fans out there who want to go see this movie and want to talk about it. But if you do your live, or even if it's a sit down video, but usually a lot of people do these live discussions about them where they're talking about the spoilers and stuff. If you do those, like say tonight, after you get out of the theater, as soon as you get home, maybe you shoot your little review, and then you get it rendered and you get it uploaded, and then you get it it starts uploading, and then you sit there and have a spoiler discussion. The one thing I want to say is not everybody's had a chance to see the movie. And if you guys know live streams are way better to get on and interact with as they're happening. So a lot of live streams, and I'm not saying all of them, but they're a little bit harder to watch afterward. You know what I mean? The value of a live stream is really right then and right there, depending on what it is. For things but like I said, if you're doing like these live spoiler discussions and things like that, I think it's better to wait till everybody's had a chance to watch the movie or read the comic book or this or that, before you have those discussions, because a lot of people don't. I mean, like I said, for me, I don't really go back and watch a whole bunch of live videos if they're not live. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not because they're not good streams or anything. It's because you want the interaction with your viewers, with your fans, or you want to interact as the viewer. You want to interact with the person who is doing the live stream. So, like for me, I kind of, and it's not that I look down on that or thinking these people are bad people or they're dumb or anything like that. But for me, I just think like some of these things, like they're better to wait until like Sunday, like a Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, until more people have had a chance to go see the movie, had time to think on it, and just different things like that. So I mean, like I said, I get it. We're all chasing views and things like that. But for me, I don't know. Why not wait? Why not just do a review? Do a review and things like that, and then wait for the live stream. Like I said, especially if you're one of these one of the bigger channels out there, like a John Campia or anything like that. Like some of these channels who have a bigger following of people who get on the live streams to discuss the movies. Why not wait till later, till after the movies come out? And it's not just Rise of Skywalker. This happens for a lot of movies, but why not wait? You know what I mean? Why not wait till everybody's had more of a chance to see it? You get more interaction, more people who come to the video and want to discuss the movie and have those streams, you know, and have those things. Because, like, for me, I don't want to go to a live stream where I'm having a spoiler discussion with somebody and I haven't seen the movie. I honestly haven't had a chance to see it. You know what I mean? So for me, the value of that live stream goes down significantly over the next couple of days. You know what I mean? And that's just me. And that's just me. You know, I'm not saying there's anybody bad doing that or anything like. Hey, you do what you got to do to get people to drive traffic to your channel. I get that. I totally understand it, but I don't know. For me, like, I don't know. As I've been doing this YouTube thing, I've kind of started to change my thoughts a lot about things. Like all the leaks and the rumors and all that kind of stuff. The leaks and the rumors are nice, but we see, like, here with what's happened with the Last Jedi, or not the Last Jedi, but the Rise of Skywalker. We see that there was, the whole script and all that stuff was supposedly leaked, and we see everybody talking about it. And it's, some people feel spoiled by it and this and that. But I honestly feel that a lot of these leaks and things like that, like the actual ones, for one, unless it's stuff that's like put out by the studio, production pictures and things like that going on. For one, the leaks, they're leaked out there by people with zero integrity. Okay, zero integrity. I mean, if they're supposed to, especially if they're like on the set of Star Wars or the MCU movies or probably even the DC movies, the thing is they're trying to avoid those things because a lot of us have channels and we speculate on those things, theories and stuff like that. But basically, these people who are doing this, who are supposed to be keeping stuff private, on the sets and stuff like that, these people, for one, have zero integrity, okay? Zero. None. You know what I mean? These people are employed by these companies who are looking for them to keep their mouths shut, and these people are out there just leaking the stuff. Zero integrity. Okay? Zero. None. And I don't like it. I honestly don't like it. Now, I do like the theorizing. I do like, all of that kinds of stuff. That's all fine, but the leaks, zero integrity from these people who are on the sets of these production companies and movie shoots and stuff like that. I just don't like it. But two, I also feel that it's bad for the fan community for those leaks to come out. Now, like I said, I think if stuff like that's going to happen, it should be stuff leaked by the studio. It should be things in production that are given by the studio, because the studio can orchestrate those. They can put those out there and say, hey, look, here's what we got going on in production. Here's some of the set photos. Here's what's going on, and just little things like that, little behind the scenes stuff. I think that would work better, not only for the studios, but for fans and fandoms all together. So then we can actually sit there and theorize and talk about our theories and things like that and build our theories, as opposed to just getting them leaked by people and then we know exactly what's going on in a movie. But that's just me. Because when it comes to these leaks and stuff, it's not like even knowing all this stuff doesn't ruin a movie. It doesn't ruin the movie, but for some people it does. For some people it does. And for a lot of people it really does. And that's why I say, I don't mind the theories and the speculation and all that stuff, but for one, these leaks are put out there by people with no integrity and just things like that. I just don't like it. You know what I mean? I really don't like it. Yeah, I don't know. And that's all I really have to say about it. But again, people do what they got to do to get, to get their, to get attention, if you will, or to get, drive traffic to their channels and stuff like that. So I get it. I'm not saying there's anybody bad out there for doing that stuff, except for the actual leakers who have zero integrity. The other thing I will say about the people, because there was a little discussion on Twitter yesterday about this too, is, like the people who, these leakers don't put it out there, like, as, public access information where, like in a place where people can just go find it. Like, you have to go seek it out. And the thing is that's not necessarily true, because they are put on public forums for people to seek out. And these people who are doing it know that people are going to go seek this information out and leak it online, and leak it online. They're going to spread that information out there for everybody else. So just because this person don't look like the a-hole and the other person does, doesn't mean that this person is not the a-hole. They are. They absolutely are. And I just get sick of that, because for me, I think largely it does more bad than it does good. For the mere fact that also, like I said, we're dealing with people that have zero integrity when it comes to these kinds of things. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the comic books that we're going to be talking about today. With the Dawn of X titles. Wookiee Supremacy says, the day the Force finally dies. Let's see, Zulu Entertainment, what's up? How are you doing? The price of crack in Detroit. Wookie Supremacy says, good morning, Zulu. Stacy's Fat Stack says, good morning, Trinity and chat. How are you doing today? Stacy's Fat Stacks. Wookie Supremacy says, I'm not. I tell everyone in my videos are garbage. Right? I tell everyone my videos are garbage. Right, yeah. And that's what I do too, man. I always tell people, I always encourage that. We see people out there who are like, in their videos, I see people posting on Facebook and stuff about this all the time in YouTube groups and stuff. People like, somebody left a dislike on my video. I've got haters in my comments and all this stuff. And I see, I've got friends and everything on Twitter, just sit there and they posted little pictures of these trolls out there who say stuff on their videos and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's no big deal. You know what I mean? People are watching your videos. Who cares if somebody's on there commenting with, like the troll comments and all that stuff? Hey, I'm just happy people come and watch my videos and leave comments. You know what I mean? I don't care if you say how ugly I am, how stupid my theory is, and all of those kind of... I don't care. I don't care. I just thank you for being here, because, I've even said this before. You can learn a lot from a troll, but thank you guys so much for being here. Just something I want to say. But yeah, like I said, in my videos, I encourage people to give thumbs downs. It's okay. You can leave me a thumbs down. It doesn't hurt my fragile little ego. Like I said, it's a little ego, so it doesn't... And my ego isn't fragile. But my ego's small. I'm just a dude with a camera and a microphone and a computer. That's about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's really about it. And I just like interacting with you all. So yeah, I tell everyone my videos are garbage. That's funny. Pavi says, gotta support your local comic book stores. Absolutely 100%. And there's people out there who aren't into the model, they just rather buy the digital copies and stuff like that. I'm a guy, I like having the physical print, but largely, local comic book shops usually have more than just comics in them. Wookie Supremacy says if I had one, I would... Curtis YZ, what's up? He says, good morning, Second Street. Also, agreed, very few live streams will be rewatched. There are some, but very few, in my opinion. Yeah, and I think that's because the value of them is, to get the interaction from your audience live, because that's ultimately what's funner. But, I mean, granted, I do go to plenty of live streams and watch and rewatch them. I do. But for the viewer, it's funner if you can have that interaction. But if I'm seeing a video with a spoiler discussion and all that kind of stuff, like, I don't want to watch that video until after I watch the movie. And after I watch the movie, I probably don't care about that because I can't interact with you at that point. So, I mean, that's just that. Wookie Supremacy says, people who watch live streams are really fucking weird. Are you talking about me, Wookie? Pavi says Mondays would be the best. Just give people a chance to watch the weekends. Yeah, see, and here's the thing. I think Sundays are probably optimum time because it's giving everybody enough time to watch the movies, and then Mondays are maybe a little too late because at that point everybody else out there who kind of thinks like I do in that sense has already done their live streams. You know what I mean? So, to me, there's probably a sweet spot to catch all that. And for me, it's probably Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, which is when LB at the Lonely Banter is going to be having his discussion. We're going to do a panel discussion on there on Sunday. So that'll be fun. If you guys aren't subscribed to LB over at the Lonely Banter, go check out his channel. We'll be over there on Sunday doing that. And again, I'm not saying it's bad. I just think that the value for the viewer is more there to do it later. Because like I said, doing it right now, as soon as you get out of the theater tonight, it's just bad. It's just bad timing. You're going to get a bunch of people watching, sure. Because there are plenty of people who want to talk about the movie, plenty of people who have already seen the movie, plenty of people who don't care to go out and watch. Well, like Wookie Supremacy, he's not going to go watch the movie. You know what I mean? He don't want to go to the theater and see it and all that stuff. Or even like Tommy, who's here a lot of the times, he's not going to go watch the movie. So, he's willing to hop on that stream. And sure, there's plenty of people out there who are like that. But for me, somebody who wants to go watch this film, somebody who is largely not turned off by everything that's happened with Star Wars and everything so far. Like, for me, doing it as soon as you get out of the theater today doesn't do anything for me because I don't want to have that discussion because I haven't seen the movie. Now, spoiler-free stuff, sure. I'll watch your spoiler-free reviews, discussions, and all that kind of stuff. No problem. But to have that spoiler discussion and things like that, I mean, I don't want to watch that until after I've seen the movie. and I'd rather interact with somebody about with that spoiler discussion. But again, that's just me. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think Mondays are a better option than Friday or Thursday night, right after you get out of the theater. um, Wookie says, seriously, anyone who types anything in one of those live stream chats is a loser. I know, man. Effing losers, man. He says it would probably work better if they didn't make it insultingly horrible movies anymore. How about that? How about that? Right? Curtis Wisey says, I think Disney is trying to roll with the "it's a bad movie" to grab our attention by rolling with the punches, because I'm kind of curious if it is as bad as the critics say, but I'm not going to see it. Largely, I think there's reasons why the critics are not liking the movie overall. I think there's a very big reason for that, and part of it has to be because of really what I feel they're trying to do with this movie, and that's and I think we kind of see that reflected is you make a movie that a lot of people have issue with. I mean, as far as the fan base is concerned, like if you make a movie like. Obviously, we see what happened with The Last Jedi. You make that movie that splits the fan community, but then you make a movie that kind of tosses all of that out the window and takes that split and makes both sides of the fandom mad. Then it kind of brings them back together, and I almost feel like they did that on purpose. You know what I mean? Brian the Observer, good morning. Brian says, I don't get dislikes. I want dislikes. It means I'm doing something right. Yeah, exactly. Me too. I don't mind the dislikes at all. I don't mind them at all. I thought The Last J was a calculated troll job. Subverting expectations was code for R-ing an entire generation's childhood. No biggie. Yeah. My True Skill says, one of my friends deleted his channel because a troll called him fat. Well, I'm True Skills. That's sad. But the one thing I will say about your friend, and I'm not saying anything bad about your friend, but if somebody's going to do that, due to somebody who says something like that, to me it sounds like somebody is looking to the internet or social media or whatnot for their own validation, and seeking that through others through social media, and that's a no-no. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. If and again, maybe it's good because he obviously doesn't have thick enough skin to live on the internet. And as a matter of fact, if he deletes his channel, he should probably go ahead and delete his Twitter, delete his Instagram, delete his Facebook, and just stay off social media. Honestly, I mean, that's just how I feel about it. And we see a lot of these people on Twitter, and these are the people who lash out at people and all that kind of stuff. They just have very fragile egos and all that kind of stuff. Just stay off the internet. These they have something wrong with them. And that thing that's wrong with them is their own insecurities with themselves. I don't care. Like even when I was fat, when I was 260 pounds, I wasn't insecure about it. I didn't care if somebody called me fat. I'd be like, yeah, I might be fat, but I can still kick your ass, and I'm still a better person than you, no matter how fat I am. So yeah, I hear you. I hear you. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna go through here. Who else have we got here? We got TT here. Thank you so much for being here. Two Gun Pedro, how are you doing? Sith Lord, thank you for being here. Thank all of you guys for being here. Sith Lord says not all dislikes mean you're doing a great job. Some probably just mean the video sucked. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'm willing to accept that. I know not all my videos are the best, and but for me, the dislike thing is just weird. I take a dislike the same way as I do a like. You interacted, and that's a good thing. The dislikes for me are just weird. Are just weird to me because even when I watch a video that I don't agree with somebody's opinion, I don't typically dislike it. Even if they get me triggered or anything like that, I don't dislike the video because it's just a video, and I don't. I might even just not leave a like or a dislike. I might leave a comment. Not give it a like or a dislike. But to me, dislikes are just weird. I don't know, because to me, like I said, for me, a dislike is the same as a like. But that's me. A lot of people aren't me, though. A lot of people don't have thick skin and things like that. Like I said, they look too much into these things. But, guys, okay, I've flapped my gums enough about enough stuff. So let's go ahead and talk about some Dawn of X. Have you guys been, first of all, let's start with, have you guys been reading the Dawn of X series and been keeping up with it? because it's been really good ever since Jonathan Hickman has kind of relaunched, kind of rebooted the X-Men in the Marvel Universe. Been doing a great job, interesting stories. Now, the one thing I want to say about this series overall, that I gotta give them high praise for, is Marvel is finally doing something right here. And I think the one thing that they've done right, largely, is that they've got Jonathan Hickman kind of overseeing the whole X-Men universe here, with the mutants, and basically keeping it all reeled in and reeled in tight. He's basically doing an editor's job. Um, he's doing an editor's job and doing what. Thank you, Lou. He says, "Good day, mate. Can't say. Just dropping some support. Take care, Lou. Thank you so much, man. You so generous, dude. I really do greatly appreciate that. One of my brothers from down under. I hope you're having a good day, man." Um, but yeah, Jonathan Hickman has been, I feel like if he's overseeing these Dawn of X books and these titles, this is something that Marvel needs to do more of. He's doing the editor's job. Whoever's like the editor, overseeing all this stuff, that guy's getting paid for nothing because Jonathan Hickman is doing his job. That's if you ask me. I could be wrong. I could be wrong here. But that's what he's doing because he's overseeing the whole X-Men thing, keeping it real and here's what we're doing. He's got these this stable of, say, 5 other writers, because there's 6 titles that come out. He's writing the one of them. Did he write the? I can't remember. If because I know he was helping write another one, and I think that was the one with Ed Brisson that he was helping write as well. But basically, he's just basically been keeping an overview of it, keeping everything reeled in, and I think that's something that Marvel needs to do more of, and maybe they just need to make Jonathan Hickman their editor or something, because he seems to be able to know how to do this, how to tell, to get 6 titles and get them to tell a bigger cohesive story that all ties in together. They can't seem to do that with the rest of their books, and it's a problem. You know what I mean? Like, you get things like, this ties to this a little bit, this ties to this a little bit. It's all kind of, but it's all kind of willy-nilly, and it's just largely not worked. Like, the War of the Realms series that came out earlier this year, that little event, was an effing disaster. For one, the event, for me, it fell flat. It just wasn't that great. Okay, we see that they did Absolute Carnage, which at that point, by the time they came to do the Absolute Carnage series, I didn't care, because after the events that I've read as of lately, they're just handled bad. And even though Donny Cates has been doing great work with Marvel and in the books that he's been writing, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And, maybe that's bad, and that's on me, because I've heard from a lot of people, especially at first, that the Absolute Carnage event was going good. But then after that initial kind of the first little while of it, it seemed like I haven't heard much about it since. So maybe something went bad, maybe it was still doing good, it just went to average, just kind of leveled out, and people just stopped talking about it. But I don't know, maybe I'm not following the right channels that are reading Absolute Carnage, or maybe it just wasn't handled very well and people lost interest and didn't care as much. Whereas what we're getting right here with the Dawn of X series, it's done right. Marvel, you guys need to do more of this. I can also tell you, recently they did this 2099 event. I've got reviews dropping for that. One just dropped this morning, with some of these 2099 titles, and I've got to tell you, it's a disaster. And I like Nick Spencer. And this all kind of spun out of the Amazing Spider-Man, and it all tied into there. He wrote the 2099 Alpha and Omega books. I can't remember. I think he also did the Spider-Man 2099 book here as well in all of these tie-ins. But largely, it's terrible. The books, they're all a bunch of one-shots that tie into it. None of them seem to tell a story that serves the overall purpose of 2099. You could literally not read any of those titles that tie into it and understand what's going on just by reading The Amazing Spider-Man. And to me, that means that you printed a whole bunch of books. I think there was like 9 other books that came out tied into this that there was absolutely no purpose in doing. It was a waste of time, it was a waste of money, it was a waste of resources, a waste in every single way. You know what I mean? Because You don't need to read them to understand what happened with the 2099 event. Just read Amazing Spider-Man. Don't waste your money on these other books. And that is what Marvel has done by doing what they've done with the 2099 event. They've wasted their money. Why would you waste money printing all those books? Employing those people to write these stories and stuff like that to tell a story that sucks. Why? Do what Jonathan Hickman has done here with the X-Men, with the House of X and Powers of X, where he's kind of done this thing and left it largely, he's given us a gift. He's given us a gift, and largely he's given Marvel a gift in doing something that they obviously can't seem to do. But Jonathan Hickman, who obviously he knows enough about the comic book industry, but he's a writer. He's not the editor. He's not the overall. He's not the head of Marvel. He's not that. He's just a writer. And he can keep this reeled in better than these editors and stuff like that who are largely in charge of keeping this stuff reeled in and kept together. They should be there to keep all of this stuff together, you know what I mean? To keep it all consistent throughout the series. But they do just an absolute horrible job doing it. But Jonathan Hickman seems to be doing freaking fantabulous job doing this. He's got 6 titles that he's in charge of, basically, and all of them, while they're not all great books, they're all telling a story that ties in together, that tells a cohesive story that moves the plot forward with each and every issue. Because I'll tell you, the New Mutants series, while I think it's adding some valuable things into the story, the overall story, I think it's adding some value to the overall story. The characters are insufferable. I can't stand them. I hate reading them. You know what I mean? Every time I read the New Mutants book, I just want to slap the shit out of every single one of them characters. They annoy me. They absolutely 100% annoy me because they all act like a bunch of little assholes. They don't interact with each other well. It's just, they're just a bunch of, like I said, I already said that. But that's how it is. But I will say, the story ties into the larger X universe really, really great. How can Jonathan Hickman seem to manage to get that, to do that with these books, and they can't do the rest throughout the rest of the Marvel books? It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. But Jonathan Hickman is doing it. Take a look at him, Marvel. Maybe you need to get rid of, who's the guy? CB Cebulski, whatever. Maybe you just need to get him out of there and put Jonathan Hickman in his spot. And I know there's others out there who are, we can take a look at some of the other people who were involved in that over there at Marvel overseeing this stuff and see whose jobs that he should probably have. Because, like I said, he's doing a great job where some of these other people are doing an absolutely terrible job. Who we got here? The editor, Jordan D. White. Editor-in-chief, C.B. Cebulski. Joe Quesada, chief creative maybe that's whose job he needs. Or is it Dan Buckley, who is the president? Maybe he needs that job. Or Alan Fine, who's the executive producer. Maybe he needs that. Maybe Jonathan Hickman just needs to replace these 1, 2, 3, 4 guys, 5 guys right here. Maybe he just needs to replace them. Because largely what I've been getting at, and I'm not, saying that like all these Marvel books suck. Some of them are telling okay stories, but they just can't seem to reel it in. They can't seem to keep the universe bigger. And it's something I was watching Professor Bill today on Comic Book University, where he was talking about the Annihilation Scourge series, which I like that little event that's gone on, the Annihilation Scourge. It's been pretty good. I do have some things that I could criticize about it, but largely overall, it seems to be an event that's done right. It's got a bunch of one-shots that all tie together and tell a cohesive story going, overall. You know what I mean? It's doing its job in that sense. there are things I could criticize about it and say about it, and I've kind of said some of that in some of the videos, but it's doing a much better job than they're doing with some of these other things. But what Professor Bill was saying is like the events used to mean something. They affected the overall universe. They affected because there's too many titles out. This is what he was saying. There's too many titles out, and this one little event doesn't serve the purpose of all the other stories that are going on in the Marvel universe. And they should. They should, because that's what keeps us talking. That's what gives it value. You know what I mean? And that's not what they're doing largely over at Marvel. I haven't seen any of this 2099 stuff spilling over into anything else and affecting anything else in the universe. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's that, and again, I think that's just my criticism of those kinds of things. It's just they're not doing a good job with that. Marvel needs to reel that stuff in. They need to reel that in to tell us better stories. To tell us better stories. And it's not that something I'm sure there's probably people out there like it's not that they have bad writers. Some of the writers are actually pretty good. It's just that basically a lot of the books are like, okay, this title exists only by itself. Captain America has nothing to do with any of the other stories going on. It don't have anything to do with Avengers. It don't have anything to do with Iron Man. It don't have anything to do with Captain Marvel. It don't have anything to do with any of these other titles, and that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing. They should all. I mean, unless it's one of those alternate universes, it should all tie into everything else. You should hear a mention in this book that relates to this book and how they're kind of tied together in that way. But you don't. You don't hear it very much. And I think, I don't know. I think it's a bad thing. They all need to take a lesson from what Jonathan Hickman is doing here with the X universe. But guys, X Force. This book right here, even if you're not keeping up with all the Jonathan Hickman series, the Mutants and everything, go read this book. Start at issue number 1. Read this title. This title is. I try to keep it PG here on on these morning shows so more people can watch them. I only try to keep it crazy on the Trailer Park Live, but this right here, great, great, great book. This is what I want to see, and I don't even know who Benjamin Percy is, but he's managed to make my favorite out of all these X titles that have been coming out. These Dawn of X titles, freaking great. And I think the art in this book has been top notch as well. The art in these books has been really good. I've liked it. One of the things I will say about this is a lot of the story that's going on in the mutant universe right now is being told in here. This is the meat and potatoes right here. This is the meat and potatoes of the story. I would think it would be X-Men, but this is it. This is really where all the action is at. All the story seems to be at. Now, in issue number 3 of X-Men, they did a much better job. Making it more interesting, because issue number 1 and 2 of the X-Men series seemed like it's just a bunch of silliness. You're catching up with the Summers family and just having fun, haha, and they're doing some little adventure stuff. Oh, it's cool. Issue number 3 really reeled that in and told us a much better story, and I'm hoping it gets better, because it's been a couple weeks since we've had one, and we've seen the X-Force. This came out last week. Issue number 3 came out last week. We got issue number 4 this week. So I have a feeling that issue number 4 of X-Men is going to blow our socks off. I think it's going to be one of those titles that they finally come in and really knock one out of the park. And it's not that X-Men has been bad. It's just that it's been kind of having some silliness in there with a little bit of stuff that's been moving the story forward. And I think the next X-Men title that's going to be coming out, and I'm guessing it's probably going to be in January, because I haven't seen the previews for what's coming out on the last week here of well, I'm pretty sure we get one more comic book day by the time December is out. Oh, okay, yeah, no. Next week is it. So on January 1st, basically, I have a feeling that I'm guessing that X-Men's coming out that day. That's going to be a great book. I have a feeling it's going to have some really cool things to say and talk about in that book. But this book right here, guys, this is freaking great. And I think part of what I like about it is it's a body horror tale. We see that Domino has been, she was captured, she was abused. These people who want to fight back against the mutants used her body and took these skin grafts off of her and just really tore her up. It's great stuff. Great stuff. What happens? The story we hear with Wolverine and everything. Great stuff. Great stuff. I'm telling you, this book. Um, I'm really liking this. I don't know. I honestly don't know how else I can say it. This is definitely my favorite book out of all these Dawn of X titles. Let me know what you think. If you've been keeping up with this series, let me know what you think about X Force down in the comments below. Um, but again, I mean, this is the book where Professor. In case you guys don't know, spoilers. You know, I'm gonna give you a second to click away if you want to read these books. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Um, Professor Xavier was killed in the X Force book. A lot of the story's been being told in this X Force book, and that's what we're seeing in this book. You know, I heard somebody else, what was it, Wildebeard Reviews, was talking about this book and how this particular issue really reminded him of The Rock. You know, the movie, not Dwayne The Rock Johnson, the movie The Rock, with Sean Connery and yeah, Nicolas Cage and all that stuff. And it really kind of does, because it opens up on the facility here where they're making the mutant drugs that they're basically dealing to the humans to extend their life. And it's really been great in that sense. Just telling these good stories, and man, did you guys see that? Look at that, man. Look at this art there. It's just freaking beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. And you know, if you want somebody else who's really passionate about these books, you need to go check out my brother Chillmonger here on YouTube. Just type it in. Chillmonger. Chillmonger. Go check out his channel. He's really good, man, and he has a passion for these books as well, and you can see it in his videos. And he's really into this lore and everything. And I like watching his videos, going in there, watching his videos and seeing the things he has to say about these, because he's definitely really into these books. I think you guys should go check him out. He's one of my favorite comic book content creators on here as well. But yeah, see, then again, we get some more of this beautiful art here in this book. I'm telling you, just like this book has largely been doing a great job telling the story with the art and all kinds of different things, and just like I said, the things that they're doing in here. Like I said, with like some of the body horror stuff going on here. I just like, you know, we get some action here. We get the mutants going through this portal. They're going to attack. Some very interesting things happens in this book, and I like it. I like it. Definitely my favorite Dawn of X title. But if you're reading any of these Dawn of X titles, let me know what you think about them down in the comments below. I want to hear those thoughts. Let's see. Let's see. Aggressively relaxing. Thank you for being here. Sith Lord, thank you so much for being here. I am True Skills. Let's see. We got Yod Vav says Star Wars episodes 1 through 6. I'm happy. Stupid Disney try using it to make money. They bought the Star Wars franchise to make money. Why? Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they want to make money? It's just, and I'm not saying anything bad about you, Yod. But what I'm saying is, you hear people out there saying like, "Oh, this movie is just a cash grab." You know, not Rise of Skywalker or anything, but that's the point of movies, is to make money. The point of comic books is to make money. So yeah. But he says they could have at least tried to make Star Wars movie. Well, they did make a Star Wars movie, and not propaganda opera for SJWs. And again, there's one movie, there's one movie that's like that, you know. And obviously they just didn't have very much oversight with it. So and stuff like the propaganda opera for the SJWs, like, you're being blinded by your upsetness for it. They made a movie. They made one bad movie, okay? They made one bad one here out of this sequel trilogy. Force Awakens was okay. The problem with The Force Awakens is that The Last Jedi didn't build on it. It's funny because I was actually watching one of these reviewers where they actually said the exact same thing. That's part of the problem with that, is that there was no character progression. It didn't do anything. It was just a flat line instead of building on. And I've talked about that here too. It's just a flat line. They didn't progress the stories. They didn't say, you know, like, that's why people largely say, "Oh, Rey's just a Mary Sue." They say that because The Last Jedi didn't give us any reason to see why she's not. You know, it didn't build on her character, show her getting her power, show her training or anything like that. You know what I mean? She just went to Luke, who was acting like a baby. He throws away the lightsaber, and that's pretty much it. And she ends up training on her own, and he eventually just comes out and tickles her hand with a little twig, and that's it. You know what I mean? That's really about it. But as far as propaganda opera for the SJWs, you're just being. I mean, I just you know what? Fuck it. We're going R rated here. You're just being a triggered little bitch, is what it is. Is what it is. They made one bad fucking movie. Get over it. You know what I mean? Just don't watch the. It's just one movie. You don't have to watch it. You know, just ignore it. But I mean, they're not using it as a propaganda opera for SJWs. They made one bad fucking movie, okay? One bad movie, because obviously they lost somebody lost oversight on this movie and let Rian Johnson do whatever the fuck he wanted to do with it. That's the problem. You know what I mean? That's the problem. Because and the reason I'm saying that is because you're probably going to be one of those people who says, "Oh, keep politics out of the movies. We want our escapist entertainment." Movies are made for that. Movies, comic books, music, they're made to express yourself and your opinions. It's always been that fucking way, okay? That's what people do. It's a means to express how you feel about shit. There it is, There it is. It's a medium for expression. Now the thing is, because the politics have always been in Star Wars, just not our real world politics being put so on the nose. That's the thing. That is the issue. It's not the fact that they've got messages in there, like propaganda stuff. That's not, the stories have that in there in the first place. They're all political allegories of our society. But that's the thing, is they're allegories. They're not so on the nose that it's blinding you and pissing you off. That's the difference. That is the difference. And that's why I hate when people say that shit like oh, our escapist entertainment and all that. Get the fuck out of here with that. It's entertainment for one. It's not supposed to be escapist entertainment. It's supposed to be fun and entertaining. That's why what they did in there, because it's so on the nose, that it's bad. That's why that's like that. Okay? It's not this, propaganda, SJW shit. It's not that. It's not that. And here's the other thing, too. The other problem that people have with this is it's not the politics that are in there. It's because it don't fucking agree with the politics that you like. That's what it is. If it had the political beliefs and things that you believe, you would be happy with it, and the other people would be pissed off. That's the difference. That's why it's so bad that it was on the nose. That's why it was so bad. It has nothing to do with the fucking politics. It's literally in almost every single movie, piece of music, piece of art that comes out. They're forms of expression. That's what they're there for. I'm True Skill says, I think I'm the only person that likes the current Doctor Doom run. No, I think Aggressively Relaxing here actually likes it as well. And I know there's plenty of other people reading it. Aggressively Relaxing says, have you read the old 2099 books? I haven't read any of them, but I do have that Marvel University or Marvel Unlimited where I want to go and check those out, because I'm sure some of that kind of ties into here, maybe. I don't know, because the 2099 is just it's been a shit show. Wookiee Supremacy says, Rise of Skywalker better not make me come home and kick my neighbor's dog. Well, if it does, you're just an abusive asshole and it has nothing to do with the movie. Brian the Observer says, Cebulski is a paper tiger. You know who is really in charge? Sanat or Amanat. Is she still over there, like working for them? I don't know. But I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he said that totally butcher. I think I know who you're talking about, but I don't even know, like, is she still with Marvel doing anything? I don't know. And I don't really know who she is, other than I think I've seen young Ripa talking about some of the stuff that she has to, some of the things that she's kind of done out there. Two Gun Pedro says, that's why I'm reading more indie books. Absolutely, 100%. The writers there are writing, for one, because they're creating original stories, so they don't have established characters where, you can just be lazy and be like, oh, this book's going to sell because it's Spider-Man. They have to build those characters up and build those stories up. And I absolutely agree with you. Who is the X-Force team now? There's actually quite a few of them that are there, but for the most part, we've got Kid Omega, Wolverine, and Domino for the most part. in the books, I mean, we also get Beast. We also get a lot of what's her name, Sage. But for the most part, it's mainly been those three. It's mainly for the most part been Wolverine, Domino, and Kid Omega. But a lot of the other people are here in the story. But it seems like the main chunk of the team who's going out and doing stuff is those three. But yeah, certainly on the indie book thing, man. Brian the Observer says she has Sobolski wrapped around her finger. Go watch Comics Matter with your boy. Oh yeah. I was gonna say I like your boy Zach. I like his videos. I recently just found him. I like him because he's funny, man. He makes me laugh, you know. And you know, obviously not everybody's gonna agree with his opinions and stuff, but he makes me laugh. And he always brings up good points, whether you like him or not. He always brings up good points. He does. Aggressively Relaxing says Captain America is dealing directly with the fallout of the Captain America event and has characters whose behavior is informed by other series. Yeah, I'll agree with you. I'll agree with you there. I'll agree with you. I've been reading the Captain America. I am some issues behind, but what I've liked about Captain America is that the fact that it's basically continuing the story of Secret Empire, and I like Secret Empire, and it's continuing that story because he's dealing with all the repercussions of that. That's one thing I will definitely give it that. Though I do think the story could be better. It could be better. But I do like that it's still dealing with that fallout. Jay Pino says X-Men books got pushed back by 4 weeks, I believe. Oh, really? So they're going to take... interesting. I'll have to look into that. They're going to take a step back a little bit. That's good. Aggressively says CB has overseen some brilliant work in his first year with an emphasis on continuity. And is like, so he's only been doing it for a year. I will say the continuity has been shit as far as everything overall, everything tying together. So I'll disagree with you there, but if you have an argument to be made, I want to see it. Let's have that discussion, man. Let's have that discussion. Aggressively says Chillmonger deserves all the subscriptions. The guy is all, yeah. Chillmonger, I'm telling you, he's good. And you know what? I think he got back into reading comic books around the same time I did. But he's good, man. He knows his shit. He's good with it. He knows. I mean, he's passionate, and he's definitely passionate about the X-Men and stuff as well. So yeah, I mean, definitely, and he is. He is very deserving of his subs, and I talk a lot about him here because I know when I first started following him, he had just like a handful of subscribers, and I'm like, dude, like I like this guy. I like his opinions. I like the way he talks, the way he presents himself. I mean, he's just a good dude, and he's passionate. He's very passionate about his books, and he breaks the shit down. Like me, I'm a fucking poser compared to Chillmonger. So yeah, he's good. He's good. Sith Lord says, agree, boobs are wonderful. 2 going on 3 crap movies. See, and that's where I'll disagree. I like The Force Awakens. It's just the only bad thing about Force Awakens is that The Last Jedi didn't do it any favors by taking that story and building on it. You know. That's a bad thing. Wookiee Supremacy says Ryan spent too much time shitting on the Force to make a good movie. To me, I will say he spent too much time shitting on the Force Awakens to make a good movie. But yeah, certainly, you know. Sir Nerdalot says, "Wow, what did I miss?" I can't. I'm not sure what part you stepped in at, but I guess I've kind of went off the deep end a little bit here today. I'm not sure where you came in at, Sir Nerdalot. Pavi says, people judge too quickly. I don't blame an entire franchise because of one mishap. Yeah, and me neither. Like I said, that to me, that's one shitty movie. The first J.J. Abrams one was good. Force Awakens was good. And hopefully, it sounds like this one's kind of going through and kind of correcting some of that and is going to piss a bunch of people off. And maybe, I was talking about yesterday, maybe that thing that he did to piss everybody off is going to bring a lot of the fans back together in that sense. Because then everybody's going to be upset and they all have something mutual that they can agree and talk about. And I'm hoping it does. Wookiee Supremacy says, no, they told him to do all that subversion of expectations. Again, that will come down to the producers and stuff like that. I largely think that somebody just lost the handle on it. Somebody wasn't trying to keep it reeled in together and somebody wasn't being Jonathan Hickman on the set of that particular movie. But also we can see, and I think they admitted it, was that they didn't have a plan for the trilogy. They just went and made that shit all willy-nilly, and that's not good. Sith Lord says, get sick in streets and ganja. It's been a few days, man. It's been a few days. Is it showing? Aggressively Relaxing says, deal with the SJW's Star Wars is deal with it. SJW. Star Wars is great again. JJ is fandom menace. Rise of Skywalker is the first good sequel in the franchise. Aggressively relaxing, you kill me, brother. You are, and you guys should go check out Aggressively Relaxing too, man. He makes some great videos. It just keeps me entertained for sure. Sith Lord says the Disney trilogy has just been piss poor writing, and I think and I can't necessarily disagree with you there, but I can't quite agree with you there at the same time. And not to middle of the road it or anything, but is just not being good in building on the lore of everything that's come before it. You know what I mean? And I was watching the Fandom Collective last night. They were doing a stream and I got in there late, but they were talking a lot about what Disney should have done was took the EU and brought that into the movies and all of that stuff. And I will disagree with you right there 100% with anybody that says that they should have took from the EU lore and all that bullshit. That's a fucking lie. They shouldn't have done that because every single one of the fucking people saying that hates fucking Disney Star Wars, but yet they're sitting there saying they should have pulled from the EU, but you don't like Disney Star Wars. They would have pissed you off even more. So get the fuck out of here with that argument. They shouldn't have pulled from the EU. They shouldn't have pulled from the fucking lore. They just need to do something new and original, or something else like that. Especially at this point, pulling from the EU isn't going to save them because it's only going to piss people off more. So get the fuck out of here with that. They should have used the EU argument bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear it. Because all it would have done is made more people mad. And fuck you if you're one of those people that says that they should have pulled from the EU. Fuck you because you're wrong. You're wrong because it would have only made you more mad. Okay? Admit it. Admit it. You know what I mean? So fuck any of those EU fans out there who are saying they should have pulled from the EU and put it in the movies. No, because you don't like Disney Star Wars anyway. They wouldn't have handled it well anyway. They wouldn't have respected the source material anyway. So get the fuck out of here with that argument. I'm sick of hearing that bullshit that, they should have pulled from the EU. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck you. They shouldn't have. They need to do something original. You know what I mean? It's too fucking late for the EU bullshit. It's too fucking late. Okay? That should have been done a long time ago. That probably should have been done in the 90s when they started doing the fucking prequel trilogy. That should have been done by George Lucas, but he, as far as I know, like he wasn't really into the whole EU stuff anyway, but I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong there because I don't know the EU stuff, or George's feelings about it. But pulling from the EU, especially at this point, would have just pissed people off. It would have just pissed people off, especially at this point. So, the fuck out of here with that argument. Anybody who wants to say the EU bullshit, fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just wrong. You're just wrong. That's what it is. You're just wrong. Pulling from the EU source material wouldn't have made anybody mad. See, now look. You guys got me on this Star Wars bullshit, and I'm supposed to be here talking about Marauders. Look at that fucking cover, man. Look at that. That's... Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Yes. Storm. I love it. I like this book. This is another great book out of the Dawn of X titles. This is another one that you need to be reading. X-Force, Marauders, X-Men. After that, you can make your decisions on what you want to read. These are the three you need to be reading. Now, however, I will say that New Mutants, while the characters are insufferable, I think it's doing some important things in that book that's tying into the larger overall story. Excalibur, it's kind of there too. It's like really kind of boring, but it's doing some interesting things. I like kind of what it's doing with the other world stuff, bringing it into the regular world and stuff like that. I do like that. About this stuff. In the fact that like I said, it's tying into everything about with the Marvel universe, because and then God, what's the other one? There's Excalibur. I know. What's the other one I'm thinking of? The New Mutants. I already talked about that. Excalibur. I feel like I'm missing one. Here. What is it? Oh, Fallen Angels. Fallen Angels has been okay. It seems like that story is dragging out too far. I don't see that story lasting very long. The art in Fallen Angels is bad, which I feel bad saying because I like Simon Kudransky, who was doing the art for the Punisher series. I liked the art in there, but in this series, this Fallen Angel series, man, it's just bad. Like you'll get one panel that's good, the next panel it's terrible. You know what I mean? And it's too dark. They got too much dark stuff in it. There's just so much black and everything. You guys are gonna run yourself out of black ink. Get a different color. Um, it's been good. It's been a good story and serving the overall purpose. But the art in that book is like, ugh, ugh. Can we get some consistency? Consistency here. You've changed the art team on most of these other books already in the first place. Change the art team on Fallen Angels, please, please. Sir Nerdalot says, "Oh, Vlad Riot, thank you so much for being here." Yeah, aggressively says, "I love the new Doom the new Doom. Besides Doctor Doom getting murdered while wearing cargo pants, it was just karma, I guess." Bruh, what's your issue with cargo pants? I like cargo pants. I like the little pockets where I can put all my goodies. Wookiee Supremacy says the Last Jedi was a mistake. Yeah, I will. I'll agree with that. Yeah, I'll agree with that 100%. For Lad Rat, thank you so much for being here. Sir Nerdalot says, any suggestions to get a 5-year-old into comics? A 5-year-old. Start with, IDW puts out a lot of good books that are for younger audiences. They've been doing some good ones. They got some licensed properties that they do. That they've been really good about doing some of those books. I would say definitely go out to your local comic book shop, or even get online if you want to buy them digital, and go to IDW and get their books, because they do ones for younger readers. Marvel even does I think it's called Marvel Superheroes or something like that, and it's for younger audience as well. Those would probably be good ones, because they're aimed at that younger audience. Wookiee Supremacy says the Force Awakens was meh. It was a decent setup, but they screwed the pooch. Yeah, and I think the bigger screwed the pooch was because the Last Jedi didn't serve that movie at all. It didn't serve that movie at all. Pavi says Rise of Skywalker is a step in the right direction. That's all I'll say. I was pleasantly surprised. Good deal. Like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Sith Lord says originality and creativity is a dying breed in Hollywood. You know what I think it is? I mean, and here's the thing I'll say when it comes to that, something I've talked a lot about here when it comes to originality and creativity. Because you're not saying anything bad about it, but a lot of people, when they're talking about the originality and creativity, the one thing I will typically always say, and I'm not saying this to you, Sith Lord, that I will typically say is that, because we get a lot of people out there who are being very critical about it, is this: if you want something original, go fucking write it. Go submit your scripts. Do whatever you got to do to get it out there. That's the only way it's going to get done, because you are right that there is a lack of originality out there in Hollywood. But I also attribute that to some other things as well. And the best example I can think of that is the Point Break movie that came out, that Point Break remake that came out not too long ago, is the fact that if they made that movie and called it, I think what I call it before, I think I called it like Extreme Velocity or something like that. If they made that same movie and called it that, people are going to go watch that movie and say, and I haven't seen it, I haven't seen that remake, but people are going to watch that movie and be like, this is just Point Break all over again. So at the studio, they're probably sitting there like, oh, we got this movie, and it's basically Point Break, but we own Point Break, so we might as well just call it that. And I can't blame them for that, because people are going to go out there and say that anyway. They're going to be like, this is just Point Break remade. So it's a double-edged sword when it comes to that. But that's what I'll say. Wookiee Supremacy says they did take from the EU. They just Frankensteined it, a bunch of it together. None of that shit was a Disney. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They only pulled from. They cherry picked from the EU. They cherry picked from the EU. They didn't adapt from the EU. That's the problem. That's the problem. But also, because as he says, you talking out your ass, Trinity. Now the thing is, We already know. You know this. You cannot deny this, that you know you don't like what Disney has done with Star Wars. And if they were to take that EU lore, it would have only pissed you off even more. Because we know they would fucking ruin it. Undeniable. That's undeniable. There's already proof there that they would do that. So that's why I say that. That's why I say that. And earlier when I was going off, I'm not specifically saying, like, I'm not trying to piss you off and, get you to give me a dislike. But if you leave me a dislike, it's all good. But I'm not saying that, like, that it's you. But I mean, come on, you would have been pissed off if they would have done that, because we know that they wouldn't have honored that source material. They wouldn't have respected it. They wouldn't have respected it. Vlad Wright says looks like Storm. Yeah, yeah. Oh, didn't I say Storm? Didn't I say Storm? I thought I said Storm. Did I not say Storm? I could be wrong. Maybe I may have not said Storm, but yeah, that if I didn't say Storm, that's who I meant. That's who I meant on that cover. But yeah, Storm. She just looks great on there. Did I say somebody else? I might have, because you guys got me ranting. You guys got me ranting about Star Wars. And I'm sorry, guys. We're sorry. Didn't get me into South Park. We're sorry. Sorry. I could talk all day about current continuity. The big story building is Mephisto in jail. It connects War of the Realms and Carnage Event, while X-Men explains why 616 can have multiple futures. Are you admitting that it's 616 now aggressively relaxing? I'm thinking we got to you there. Sith Lord says, I like Mr. Sinister's Marauders back in the day with the Reavers. I didn't read that, but I would like to, because you know what? I like Mr. Sinister, because that's the one thing that I think was missing from Fallen Angels in these past 2 issues, I think, is his conversations with Psylocke. Ooh, those were just saucy, and I liked hearing him, asking her those hard questions and stuff like that, because she made her uncomfortable, and you could see he got enjoyment out of it, like some sort of sick enjoyment, and it was great. I really loved that stuff. I loved that stuff. Seeing Mr. Sinister in there, just kind of, you can tell he's poking at her, but you can tell he's genuinely interested in hearing her responses as well. Aggressively says, I can 6 degrees or less connect every book at Marvel right now and explain why it is in the timeline, with the only big mess up being art in Age of X-Men. Do it, dude. Do that video. That would be awesome. You know what? That would actually probably get you a lot of views if you did that. Making that video aggressively relaxing. You should do that video. You absolutely should. Do that video. Do that. Seriously, I'm not even kidding around here. That would be good. Sith Lord says Inferno was a great storyline. I don't think I read it. Pavi says the art in Fallen Angels is way too detailed, like it's too good, and it's just accompanied by a strong story, in my opinion. Yeah, I think the story going on in it is actually pretty good. I just feel like I think the last 2 issues here kind of slowed down a little bit. But I like the story that's going on in there, and it's really only building upon something that I've been talking about anyway, about how the biotechnology and the AI is ultimately the problem, and that's the issue for the humans and the mutants, where they should both be working against that, because honestly, the ultimate thing, it would be for them to get in contact with the humans who are doing this stuff and show them the future, show them what Moira knows, and say, like, look, dude, here's what's gonna happen if you keep doing what you're doing. But of course we all know that the humans are gonna fight back and resist that and be like, oh, that's witchcraft, you're putting this in our minds, this isn't what really happens, and they're gonna be in denial of it. That's the whole point. And then what happens is, if they actually did and they all work together and put an end to that kinds of stuff, then they're gonna be like, oh, there's gonna be obviously the conspiracy group who's out there saying, oh, see, none of that stuff was really gonna happen, they just put that in there so this and that, you know what I mean, like how the humans would be in that book, the conspiracy theorists. But yeah, I like the Fallen Angel has been telling a good story. Sith Lord says bad art kills it for me unless the story is beyond outstanding. Yeah. I hear you, and the thing is yeah, that's kind of where I am at with Fallen Angels. Like, I've got a love-hate relationship with Fallen Angels right now, because, like I said, 1 minute they'll do some art and it's great, and then the very next panel you look at and it's like, what did you do? What did you do? How'd you draw this panel good and this panel looks like crap? Iron True Skills says, so Marvel has no continuity. Back in the day, all comics were connected. Oh yeah, certainly. I would say they have continuity between some of the books, but aggressively sounds like he's got it down, and that's why I say I would like to see that video aggressively. I'd like to. Jay Pinos says, thank you for being here, Jay Pinos. Says, I've said it before. Fallen Angels is just a collection of close-ups, close-up mouths, eyes, and darkness. Bravo. Yes, you're right. It is. It is. Aggressively says you have to look at the eye color in a lot of the Fallen Angels art to understand who is talking. Absolutely, and that's something I've noticed too. And it's kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying because when they do those close-ups like that, Psylocke and Laura, they look the same. They look the same. And in some of the panels, they did the close-up on their face, but you can still see some more of their face, and they look the same. And how about issue number 3? That that panel at towards the end of the book where he drew Psylocke and her face looks like a baby? New art team. Marvel, new art team, please. And I hate to talk bad about Simon Kudransky because, like I said, I like the artwork that was going on in The Punisher, but we need a new art team on this book. Stat! Wookiee Supremacy says, my daughter learned to read from Dr. Seuss and Stan Lee. Yes, Dr. Seuss, definitely. Sith Lord says, I never learned to read. I only look at letters. Aggressively Relaxed says, pages from the 60s and 70s would disagree with the idea Marvel used to have continuity on lock. Oh yeah, certainly. I think it's just they had less and they were able to do more with it. You could be right there. You could be right because I don't know. I haven't read a whole lot, but I think it would be easier for them to have scaled back titles and be able to keep them all locked together. So Nerd a Lot says there's originally out there. It's just not in our faces like Jumanji. Right. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, totally. Vlad Rice says yes. You said Storm. Okay. I thought I did, but yeah, man, you know what? Can we look at that cover again? Oh. I'm not sure if I can say it enough. This is like, I don't know. Maybe Storm needs a Xenoscope cover. If you know Xenoscope, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe a Boundless Comics, isn't that what it's called? Is it Boundless? Is that what they're called? I can't remember that other comic book publisher out there that does those how would you say, those risque comic books and covers and stuff. Aggressively Relaxed says Dr. Seuss and Stan Lee would work together in World War II. Worked together in World War II. Also, the guy who did Addams Family and the director of Smith Goes to Washington. It's a Wonderful Life. God bless those military propagandists. Yes, indeed. Wookiee Supremacy says Disney has a track record of screwing up classic novels. Disney's Hunchback of Notre Dame ended with the townspeople cheering for Quasimodo. Yeah. That Sith Lord says that was a great episode of South Park. It was. We're sorry. Sorry. Captain Pennsylvania, what's up, my brother? How you doing? Wookiee Supremacy says, if Quasimodo doesn't die, it makes the whole story pointless. Disney likes taking classic tragedies and making them happily ever after. But that's what life is happily ever after. Which is funny, because what book was I reading where they were talking about that? It was in the 2099 book. I think it was in Spider-Man 2099. They made an allusion to that exact thing in there. The Wookiee Supremacy says the Little Mermaid ends with the Sea Witch ruling the oceans. Yeah, sometimes the bad guys should win. Aggressively Relaxed says I can't make fun informative videos anymore now that I'm a full-time Star Wars troll. That's funny, dude. Oh, guys, seriously. Go watch Aggressively Relaxing. Go subscribe to his channel and watch his videos. Do it. Bonus points if you know what movie that's from. Do it. Sounds like what they did with the Brothers Grimm fairy tales. Yeah, indeed. I'm True Skill says, Trinity, if you owned Marvel Comics, you would clean house. No, you know what? If I owned Marvel Comics, I would probably say, I don't want this. I can't do this. Like, I'm only a reader, man. But yeah. Pavi says you just need an Art Germ Storm cover for that. Yeah, an art germ one would be nice too. An art germ one would be nice too. Good day, mates. How's your day been? Says Lou. Doing good, doing good. Actually, getting ready to sign off here. Again, thank you all so much for being here today, guys. I'm sorry we kind of got into more Star Wars talk than we did with these X titles. I do want to do more of those, have more of those discussions with plenty of the comic book community out there. I may not get a chance to do that because after this weekend we're probably pretty much going out of town for the holidays. I'm going to see about getting some videos shot to upload for you guys to keep you entertained over the next week. But I will still probably be doing some live streams for you all to come and enjoy. So that's going to pretty much wrap it up for today. Guys, don't forget to go out and watch Rise of Skywalker if you're into that. If you're not, hey, all good. But I'm going to go see it on Friday morning. We'll probably talk about that. So there will be no morning movie chat tomorrow. And we'll probably talk more about that in the days to come, and definitely go check out the Lonely Banter. Subscribe to his channel, and because we're going to be doing a live discussion there on Sunday morning for me. So you all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.